This is Ty.
Hey guys, hit the like button.
He has produced a lot of sample packs like this, or this. And today he's gonna break down a sample and answer the most interesting questions like
Try changing it into a whole different genre. One of the highlights for me of the sample was this. You gotta have that feeling of pride when you're finished.
We'll start by breaking down the sample from the Bloom sample pack.
I started off with these chords.
Ooh.
And I don't play piano or anything. It's like, it's kind of just, I've been doing a lot of piano roll stuff. Played that on this D50 flute, VST.
Ooh.
So it sounds like this. And I kind of chopped it up to make it have more sustain on the first chord. I mixed it an EQ filter, no low end, no high end, and then this fruity flangus trick I go over a lot. It's like just turn the delay all the way up and the SPD all the way down and mess with the dry and the wet. It kind of gives it like a really wide sound, and like if you put that, let's say the wet is all the way up and then you make it mono, it gives it a lot more of a roomy sound versus like the intro has automation of reverb, so it's like, and then later on it gets clean. So then that's how I have the intro lead into the main sample. And then these keys, no, this one's D50, but it's also, I use this one called Keyzone Classic, and that one's, it's a free VST and I've been using it for a while. It's really good. It's the same exact chords, and I kind of chopped it to make it less crowded. And that little sprinkle thing, it's like common knowledge, I assume, for like people who actually play keys. But if you don't play keys like me, the trick is you just take the same chord, arpeggiate, or not arpeggiate, but strum it and then pitch it up an octave, and that's how you get the sprinkle. Like bells from the D50 VST is like, it's kind of like perfect. It's really simple, just follows the top notes. And all I did was add reverb. It gives it that like retro sound, I guess.
Yeah, this is a beautiful bell. Especially the high transition notes were cool.
And then I just added this little sine wave. It's like, and all I did was add OTT, EQ, and then another EQ to kind of boost the low mid, because that's like, that was basically the only frequency that's playing with this sine wave. And then I add a pitch bend. The main element of the sample that I'd say is the sax. And I kind of make like a boring melody for the intro. And it kind of makes it seem like, it adds to the atmosphericness because there's no pattern, there's no rhythm, it's just playing, and then later, this is when it like hits. And it sounds really realistic. Sensual Saxophone is a great plugin. So I have two sprinkles, or I have a chimes and a sprinkle. So this sprinkle is like, or the way I make a sprinkle like that, I think here. I take a chord, so this chord, and then I pitch it down an octave, and then it's basically a downward. I just like add a bunch of reverb, delay, a bunch of effects. So like, let me see. It's pretty simple, but it works really well, especially when paired with chimes. Like, and then this bass. So that's what it sounds like raw. It's this one preset called fingered bass, and then I just compress it really hard. The guitar rig gives it some high end, and then compressor gives it that like compressed sound. And then one of the highlights for me of the sample was this. It was literally a guitar thing. Let me bass preset for guitar because it makes it sound more characteristic. I filtered that. I gave it a ton of reverb, and then and more EQ, and then my other texture is this sprinkle. And it's cool just because what it is it's actually like sped up, so it's on time. Guitar rig is the buzz micro clean again, but with auto filter, which is basically like a wah VST or preset. And then guitar, yeah, after guitar rig is delay, and then reverb. Normally I keep chords either in the middle or close to the middle. And then textures and like leads and stuff, I'll pan. Leads I'll pan a little bit, textures I'll pan a lot. Like this is panned pretty far to the left. And then that kind of helps give it more dimension when you're making the sample.
Ooh.
It's like a lead whistle from the Juno plugin. Now for the C section, same as everything up to here, and then I added, if you see the guitar plugs match with the lines, it's almost like a triplet, but not quite, because like if I play it, next is the strings. So I'll break it down into the strings first. It's same chords and everything. It's called Chris Hine Cello is the plugin. I'm not gonna open it just because it'll like probably crash my computer. And then I EQ'd it for getting rid of low and high end. And then reels kind of gives it that warm sound, that like tape sound. And then reverb makes it wide again because reels puts everything in mono. EQ again just like kind of gives it, it doesn't clash with other frequencies when I EQ it like that. And then there's this from Spitfire Labs. It's a really cool sound. It's mandolin tremolo from, it's one of their free banks. Like this, a lot of the stuff I use is just free plugins. It helps complement the strings. Like yeah, plus the chimes, it just sounds shiny.
How do you think about your different elements in a sample? Like, is there a main element or something like that? And how do you use them while mixing?
Normally, I'll try to break it down into chords, bass, percussion, and like lead. So lead could be like a sine wave lead, or it could be vocals. And chords normally are either like, for me lately, I've either been doing on Rhodes, electric keys, or electric guitar, or acoustic guitar sometimes. And then with the bass, it could either be a synth bass, depending on the style of sample, or a live bass. Lately, I've been doing a lot more live bass, just because
sounding really good.
I've been trying to get better. Thank you. And the lead is like vocals. Normally, I'll do like two types of vocals. It's like lead vocals and then vocal stacks. When it comes to actual vocal leads, I'll try and record them on my iPhone voice memos, just because it gives it like a warmer sound.
But what do you do when this doesn't happen? When you have a cool 8-bar loop, but you don't get in the flow, but want to finish the sample?
Normally, when I'm stuck like that, there's either two things. I'll either like one, kind of add the other elements like the bass, the textures and stuff. And if that doesn't sound as good like yet, then I'll give up on it. If I want to change the rhythm or the pitch or tempo, that also helps. But it's really just kind of me, like you said, you don't know what to do next, so it's kind of just try everything until you kind of have an idea. Try pitching it down, try slowing it down, speeding it up, try changing it into a whole different genre. I was working on one sample and I was gonna try and make it like a ballad type sample. But then I ended up making it, I had no clue what to do, so I ended up making it into like a city pop sample. It feels like you're remixing it. even though it's not even finished yet. So it's kind of fun when you just mess around with. When it comes to making samples, it doesn't have to be super complex, but you gotta have that feeling of like pride when you're finished. And I feel like you don't get it as much if you're making samples for quantity.
And if you're interested in the mindset and workflow for beat millionaire, check out this video.